before starting, I've turned the power off. I've pulled out all the cords just to make sure everything's not powered. Now this here is the power supply for the laser tube. So it doesn't actually match the wiring diagram I've got. So I just double check. I know this green one is the ground for the tube. The blue and the yellow are 220 AC in, and I see it's measuring nothing. And the red one is, I didn't follow it all the way, but I think it goes to the switch that turns this on or off. Now, the actual 22,000 volts that goes out to the tube is a cord around the back that I don't have actual access to, so I'll double check that up at the laser to make sure it's off. But because I don't have like circuit diagrams I can trust, I just turn it off and leave it for like 15 minutes for anything to discharge, and it should be fairly safe. And then before going up to the laser, I've drained most of the water, so there's just a tiny little pool sitting left up inside the tube, which won't make a mess anywhere. So at the front of the tube is where it's connected to ground, and this isn't particularly dangerous. So I'll just snip this off. I've got like a fair excess of wire that I can trim back. And I'll just take it. So this is just some tube that's been placed over there. I'll just cut back this just gently because I don't want to damage it. I'm going to do something with this tube later. But this here that's been put on it is just 100% silicone. So similar stuff you can just buy at the hardware store, as long as it's 100% silicone, not one of those special application ones, because they can have other ingredients. Okay, so being fairly gentle and getting all that, you can see that from the factory there was no soldering done. It was just wire wrapped and covered with this silicone to keep it sort of protected. So that's the way I've seen some videos of them installing them in the factory as well. So that's the exact same way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to solder. So there's the ground gone, so I'll just get this wire out of the way and then we'll go do the power side. Alright, so I'll remove this here from the front end. Now I'm going to use this tube and do something else with it. So I don't want to take this end off. I'll just clip the wire. Now I haven't had a chance to actually test this wire specifically, and this is the danger one. So what I'm going to do is just a certainty is put it against the case, which is grounded, and I'll just try to penetrate till I can feel I'm touching like the post with the wire. And I'm not seeing any voltage on my multimeter, so as expected, fairly confident now that the power is off and it's safe. It's just better to check. And I'm simply going to just cut this wire. Okay, so when I take rid of this wire, okay, so this wire has a lot more insulation around it, and this is specially rated for the 2000 volts that's coming through it. So if you do replace this wire, don't replace it with anything besides a wire that you bought that's been told specifically for this purpose. Otherwise you can risk arcing and fire. So now all I'm going to do is undo the rest of the bolts along here, and I'll just lift it out. Alright, so I loosened the fittings to take it out. Now the water inlet and the outlet are just press fit on. It's easy enough to take them off. I'll just remove the tube and take it away and then go get the next one. The new tube, it turns out, is bigger than the one that I'm replacing, even though it's meant to be for this machine. So I had to take the brackets off and print up some new ones. So I'm just going to fit that. So what I wanted to do while making new brackets was, most importantly, be able to set it in place so the height of the tube when it comes out is going to be in line. If we look at the back, so it's about the same height to hit the middle of the mirror, just, you know, within a millimetre or two. Doesn't matter if it's too far back or forward, I can move this mirror back and forward. So I'm just going to secure this in place, then go on to the next step, setting it up. So with it secured in place, before I commit to any kind of doing the wires or anything, I'm just going to connect the water up. And this is all just sort of like push on fit. So one at the front, one at the back. It's pretty obvious which one's which because only one will reach this far. And because my water's on a different circuit, I can turn that on and I can just like let some water run through. So now the water's starting to come through now, so I'll be able to like immediately see if there's any issues with like bubbles forming or anything that I'm gonna have to, you know, like tilt and get rid of them. But no, there's just sort of one bubble that's sort of chasing through and getting out of there now, so now I'm satisfied the water flow's okay. What I'm going to do is I'll go up and I'll do the ground wire first. I'll just wipe it clean with a bit of isopropyl alcohol first. So my plan is I'm going to like cable tie this and I'm going to come around from the top there. And I'm just going to put this same sort of plug back on how the other one was. So I'll tightly wrap this around to the end of the post. And that clip the excess off. Should have brought my better ones. And I've got some 100% silicone sealant, so none of any of the specialty types. So let that start flowing. Dab a bit on, and I'll put this sort of cone over and I'll fill it up just like it was on the one that I removed. And then I'll go do the same up with the high voltage wire. So with both of these connected up, what I'll do now is, while I wait for this silicone to cure, I'm just going to like cable tie up some of these wires and start reconnecting the power so I'll be ready to test it. But that's it, the laser's done. All there is to do is test, redo the alignment, and it'll be good to go. The silicon looks a bit better once it's cooled a bit. The high voltage end is a lot neater, which is the most important. So what I'm going to do is try to fire a shot, only at 50% power, because I don't want to put too much stress on it yet, and we'll see if it all works.